for District 4, parts of Lane and Douglas County, also serving as the chair on the Senate Judiciary Committee. This last interim, we authorized, along with the Department of Justice, to do a ongoing work group to look at what steps we should be taking or looking at taking and dealing with this issue on security on campuses. As most of you know, we have taken some steps to allow for universities to go through a process if they choose to do so, and they can show that they're able to have the resources and actually have a full-fledged police department. Others do not. Some actually have a hybrid where under contract, such as like OSU, they have Oregon State Police under contract to do the police law enforcement. They also have security campus officers as well. The University of Oregon and PSU, Portland State University, they do in fact have police departments, but they also use security officers. You will be hearing some very traumatic testimony today regarding the situation involving Kaylee and the scenario that played out for her. You also will be hearing some other testimony that I think that you'll find extremely appalling of how the university, or excuse me, the college actually responded, not only to that case, but how they failed to work with the local police department, where Chief Porter was attempting to actually work with them to make certain they were following, complying with the law, and where they actually came to a point where they were challenging the local law enforcement as to what they had to do or not do. So you'll find out through this testimony today some of the steps we thought that were important. And as Senator Knopp said, we want to ensure that an individual who's dealing with, who could be security versus law enforcement, know who they're dealing with. And that we believe is very important. And we think the way that we can do this is requiring that the uniforms not look and resemble the local law enforcement. I can tell stories from my days as a prosecutor in Eugene before U of O actually started their police department, how EPD would be on the scene. They would look, they'd think they actually had the building secure, and then they would start their entry only to realize that one of the people on the point was not a sworn police officer, and now they had a breach as to how they were going to move forward. So we think this will be good for not only the individuals that might come in contact with the law enforcement or security guards, but also for law enforcement itself to ensure they know who is out there. The portions about the vehicle you've heard, and they'll need to be labeled as campus security, ensuring that they're not using emblems and logos that appear to be from a law enforcement agency. One of the other key parts that we're requiring is the prohibition, which currently is not a prohibition, of stop and frisk. We think this is extremely important, that should be reserved only to sworn police officers. As you can imagine, one, it takes training to do it properly, and two, you can see where an individual, especially a co-ed, could be extremely vulnerable to that type of demand by an individual. So we think those are very important to also take in consideration. The other parts that we're attempting to work through is to ensure that there's accountability. One of the areas is with the vehicles, they will need to have one of three type of systems set up, either a GPS, some type of onboard cameras, or they're going to have some type of 24/7 dispatch, someone that they can actually know and monitor where the vehicle is or what they're doing and have immediate call out and response. You will find out why we want this based on the testimony you will hear. There's no reason for me to go into that. You'll be hearing that. So along with Senator Knopp, I also want to thank Jamie and Kaylee Sawyer, father and stepmother, who have diligently been here whenever we needed them to be here, participated throughout the work group as to ensuring we were covering the stuff that they thought we needed to do. And as Senator Knopp said, there's a lot of individuals, both on the local side in Bend and Deschutes County, that should be recognized for all the work they've done. And I think at this point, I'll turn it over to the chair to proceed.
Thank you.
Whatever you want us to do.